Next, we will move on to the presentation from the City of Moreton Bay, the second location for the pilot project. To begin, we are pleased to welcome the Mayor of the City of Moreton Bay, Mr. Peter Flannery, who will provide the opening remarks. Please give him a warm round of applause while we invite him on the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone, or as we say in Australia, g'day. Hello and thank you for joining us. The City of Moreton Bay stands at a pivotal moment in its growth journey, and we want you to help. We currently have a population in excess of 530,000 people, and we are expected to grow on 2%, which is 12,500 people each year, or if you break down that per week, it's 240 people a week, every week, are moving to our city for the next 25 years. This means new homes, new roads, new bridges, and over 2,045 square kilometres, all whilst upgrading and maintaining existing infrastructure. This also means more people in a range of locations to find and to support in a time of disaster, all requiring innovative solutions and new ways of doing things. With this population growth, the City of Moreton Bay is entering a new era, one defined by ambition, momentum, and a clear vision for a resilient and prosperous future. Adding to this, we have the 2032 Olympics coming to Brisbane. We are right next to Brisbane in 6 short years, where City of Moreton Bay will play an important role in the Olympics and Paralympics. It's also important to note that one of our key policies is our growth management strategy is to limit our urban footprint to 25% of our land area, because our mantra is go green as we grow. So green is referred to as both conservation and also recreation. The city's coastline and hinterland provide both opportunity for our community to enjoy, and this is a key part of our strategy to protect that. This is a future that we must actively shape. With our ambition and momentum comes responsibility. We cannot assume that infrastructure will automatically keep pace with population growth, so we must plan and be more innovative. And we're seeking those solutions from Tokyo startups, from you people here today. We have hundreds of thousands of assets and in service with a total replacement value of $9.8 billion, excluding land and investment properties. We are seeking novel assessment management solutions, which include new detection methods, new materials, and remote inspections, which Annie will tell you more about shortly. We're also facing increasing threats of disaster due to climate change. We have a civic duty to prepare and to ensure the safety of our communities. With higher temperatures, variable rainfalls, less frequent but more intense tropical cyclones, and a rising sea levels, our coastal communities are increasingly under greater threat. Our primary threats are storm surges. This includes both high volume and increased frequency of water, the deluge into urban areas, resulting in localised flooding, hail and wind damage, and extreme circumstances, loss of life. With over 10,000 hectares of natural areas and 42% of our city covered with native vegetation, we also have a high risk of wildfires, or as we call them in Australia, bushfires. We manage coordinated responses to all emergencies that threaten our community, and in collaboration with other government collaborators, this requires 3 response stages, including prepare, respond, and recover. With both these challenges, themes of urban infrastructure and disaster management and resilience, it's also important to note that we are digitally enabled. In shaping how we grow as a city, Council made the decision to increase our investment in digital functions with the objective of greater customer experience and productivity. We are shaping the future, and we are focused on what well-planned, modern and digitally enabled city can achieve. Our technology choices today and in the future will enable us, I've got 1 minute left, enable us to build and manage a growing city that preserves the quality of life our communities value. We are making technology investments to support everything from our long-term strategic planning to delivery of everyday services. To sum it up, our key focuses are to create a compact urban form that ensures infrastructure and services are provided cost effectively whilst protecting our green spaces. Lead and partner with global experts to ensure timely and cost-effective delivery of infrastructure and services to support our growth. We also recognise the role of private investment, in delivering housing, employment and community and tourism facilities and infrastructure to support our growth. To you in the audience, the investors, please come and talk to us. We wish to design urban infrastructure that enables communities to connect with each other and creates a positive sense of place, complete with a network of convenience and sustainable transport options, and importantly, ensure our communities are safe and protected at all times, including during disasters. Look forward to collaborating with you. Thank you for your time and have a great function. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next, we will hear from Ms. Annie Rollins, Head of Industry Advancement of the City of Moreton Bay. She will introduce the key challenges facing the city, which will serve as the theme for this year's pilot project. Please give her a warm round of applause while we invite her to the stage.
Hello everybody, and thank you Mr. Mayor Flannery. As you heard, my name is Annie Lawrence and I work at City of Moreton Bay in an economic development role. You've just heard the why, rapid growth, real pressure and real responsibility. My job now is to talk you through the what and the how. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll make this challenge practical, the two themes, the scale of the testbed, and how you, Tokyo startups, can engage. And we'll follow my presentation with a panel session as well. For those of you orienting yourself, we sit just north of Brisbane in southeast Queensland. We govern a large and diverse region across more than 2,000 square kilometres. We're in the heart of a very fast-growing corridor with direct access to global markets and the Brisbane 2032 Games on the horizon. For innovators, that combination matters. It means real problems, real urgency, and a real opportunity to prove something that can scale. Queensland is Australia's most disaster-prone state. Climate change is increasing the intensity of hazards, floods, and severe storms, heat, and coastal impacts. So we need innovation that helps us keep communities safe and keeps cities' systems functioning as we grow. And we're not doing this alone. We're supported by strong partners, including UniSC, our local university, with test and trial facilities, and collaboration with our water utility partner called Unity Water. This challenge has two themes: disaster resilience and response, as well as infrastructure management. Our first challenge theme is disaster prediction to preparedness. We're looking for solutions that improve early warning and forecasting, strengthen community messaging and understanding, and, most importantly, turn warnings into action. That includes enhancing our existing systems, such as Moreton Alert and our disaster dashboard. And building on the Mayor's remarks, coastal storm surge and water deluge are critical threats for us. This theme is about anticipating earlier, coordinating better, and giving residents and businesses clear, trusted guidance that they can act upon. The second part of this theme focuses on the response side of the equation, managing water deluge in a rapidly growing city, as well as other disaster that may befall us. We're interested in sensors, AI, and robotics that help us see what's happening in real time, anticipate where systems will be overloaded, and identify cost-effective resilience upgrades. In simple terms, what's happening now, what's likely next, and what is the safest action for our teams and the public in local conditions. Our second theme is infrastructure management, how a fast-growing city better understands, maintains, and extends the life of critical assets using data and technology. What you see on this slide are idea starters only. We genuinely expect the Tokyo startup community, you, to bring many more innovative approaches than we've imagined, and I look forward to hearing about them. And so that's exactly why we're here. Examples include analysing urban data for better decisions, inspecting stormwater pipes and roads using robotics and sensors, security enhancement and situational awareness in public environments, greener outcomes through renewables and active transport, AR and VR training systems for knowledge transfer, just to name a few. The Mayor referenced our scale. Here are a few numbers so you can see the real test bed. We manage around 700,000 assets, growing about 2.7% per year. That includes 3,806 kilometres of roads, 2,709 kilometres of stormwater pipes, 384 bridges, and all of these and more with a replacement value, as the Mayor said, of $9.8 billion. Our assets are diverse and also include buildings, nature reserves, parks, sports fields, cemeteries, playgrounds. There's a significant diversity in our assets. One practical example, we operate one of the largest local government CCTV networks in Queensland, supporting public safety and situational awareness. The Mayor also mentioned we're digitally enabled. Here's what that looks like in practice. We're currently building our City Brain, a data and operations platform designed to enable AI for staff and the community. It supports maintenance prioritisation, emergency management, including flood management improvements and smarter compliance. First capabilities are planned for November 2026 with ongoing maturity to support regional alignment and the 2032 Olympics operating environment. And this is an opportunity to get in the ground floor with these investments. Moreton Bay is also an economy with momentum. We have over 33,000 businesses, more than 168,000 local jobs and a $25 billion gross regional product. For startups, that means customers, partners and pathways, not just a single pilot. And we are part of the broader Southeast Queensland ecosystem, so as mentioned earlier. So what does this mean for startups? City of Moreton Bay offers a platform to enter the Australian market with government and industry support alike, build local partnerships and customer pathways, and test and scale solutions in a real city environment. Through the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's Open Innovation King Salmon program, there is a clear pathway from challenge to selection to proof of concept, with the winning startup working directly with council on a 4-month pilot. This is about partnership, learning together and building solutions that can scale well beyond a single city. And I mentioned partnerships before, so I'd like to loop back. We're really proud of our local university with specialist engineering and advanced technology laboratories, an innovation accelerator, and infrastructure for testing, prototyping and real-world trials. And they're 100% on board with this opportunity. So that ecosystem helps turn ideas into demonstrations and demonstrations into something operational. So we warmly welcome your applications, and we bring a collaborative culture and what we call #TeamMoretonBay. Supportive, practical and committed to making partnerships work. The successful startup will work with council on this 4-month proof of concept, as I said, commencing later this year. Now, to bring this to life, we'll move to a short panel about collaboration support and pathways for you to engage with Queensland and with our city. I'll ask a few questions of our panellists and then we'll open up to yourselves with more questions. So I'm delighted now to bring up 2 people who can speak to collaboration, support and market entry pathways. Please welcome James Gorsey, CEO and founder of Cadent, and Melissa Inuka, Queensland Trade Investment Commissioner for Japan. Please welcome them.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawrence. And now we will move on to the panel discussion. Ms. Lawrence will serve as the moderator. And now we invited Queensland Trade and Investment Commissioner of Japan, Ms. Melissa Inoka, and Mr. James Gauchi, CEO and founder of Cadent, a startup based in the city of Moreton Bay to join us on stage. Now, Ms. Lawrence, please.
Thank you very much. I would just like to give a brief overview of what's written down here about both of you, and then I'll get you to expand on it in a moment. So firstly, James Gorsey is CEO and founder of Cadent, as you've heard, a responsible AI engineering and governance startup based in the city of Moreton Bay. Cadent helps organisations in high stakes and regulated sectors build and adopt high-performance AI systems safely and effectively, and he's also an exhibitor here in the TIQ stand. And Melissa she leads Queensland's Japan team for Trade and Investment Queensland, based here in Tokyo, and she obviously speaks fluent Japanese as well. She has extensive experience supporting business growth between Japan and Queensland, including Queensland's participation at World Expo 2025 Osaka. So tell us more, James. So what do you do and how do you help?
So, as you very eloquently mentioned, in our business we help organisations adopt AI responsibly. And so for us, that means not just in an orientation towards profit, but also with an orientation towards sustainability and social impact, and the impact that AI systems can have on individuals, groups of individuals, and society at large. And this is something that we've been working in for about 5 years now. And we started in Moreton Bay after I moved there about 5 years ago. I'm one of the people moving to Moreton Bay, one of those 240 people every week. And since then, we've worked with 30 clients across Australia, including federal government programs, state government programs, local government, and the private sector as well. So, yeah.
Wonderful. And Melissa, same question at you. So what exactly do you do and how do you help?
So thank you for the introduction. It's very lovely to be here. So as introduced, I am the Commissioner for the Queensland Government Office based here in Japan. So we have an office of 10 people, and our role very much is to attract investment and attract business into Queensland, but also help Queensland people who want to export to the Japan market. So we have a focus on a number of key sectors. Innovation is one of those sectors for us. We work very closely with stakeholders here in Japan, but also with our stakeholders in Queensland, like the Moreton Bay like the Moreton Bay Council, like the Queensland Government. So our role really is to help you connect people in Tokyo, in Japan, looking for opportunities to undertake, whether it's programs like this, to do demonstration programs, to start up, establish a presence in Queensland. Our role is very much there to help you and support you through that process. We are run by the government, so we don't cost any money. We can support you with advice, facilitation of meetings, but it's all free. Probably important.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Melissa, by the way. Thanks for that.
And we at City of Moreton Bay can attest to the support of your office as a city government, but also the support that you've provided our local startups and also the startups here, because your connections back to the Queensland government, if your office isn't specifically charged with that activity, you know where to send somebody, and often it's to somebody like me.
Absolutely correct. It's all about, we often say Queensland is a very small village. We all know each other very well. We can connect you with opportunities like in Moreton Bay, like in other opportunities. As highlighted by the Mayor, Moreton Bay is a very fast-growing region. Queensland has a population of just over 5.5 million. But we have the size, 5 times the size of Japan. So we have a very large land expanse, but a very small population, which is why we are supporting innovation. We need innovation. We proactively seek innovation to bring in efficiencies to our state.
Wonderful. Okay, so my first question is to James. So the City of Moreton Bay has used open innovation approaches before, and just for context, we did a challenge around mobility, access and inclusion in partnership with the Queensland Government, and Queensland startups applied, and now we have 2 proof of concepts running through the organisation. And we've done smaller versions of which James is aware of. So we want to hear from you. because we're now scaling internationally, right, through our partnership with Tokyo Metropolitan Government. What advice would you give startups who want to work with a city, any city, including us?
I have a bit of a unique perspective on this because I have worked in public sector programs quite extensively, and I think when you've worked in both public and private sectors, you notice the differences in cycle times between those two different communities. With governments, the cycle times are around the election cycles, they're around decade-long and generational cycles, whereas in technology startups, we're going week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, right? And so something that I would advise any startup of any kind working with any kind of public sector organisation, and not just governments like the City of Moreton Bay or working with organisations like Trade and Investment Queensland, I would recommend that you have some patience and have trust that they have a vested interest in your success. Even though you don't get communications from them all the time, sometimes there are rules as to why they can't give you communications all the time, and sometimes they're working really hard in the background to support you in your objectives, because and what you can be confident of is the stated objectives that they have a lot of reputational capital invested in those promises to their cities, to their jurisdictions. And so if you get behind those kinds of initiatives, you can be confident that you will get the kind of support that you need in time. That's probably my number one.
Very wise words. Okie doke. The next question is to Melissa. What support exists for Tokyo-based startups to expand to Queensland, and what does a smart first step potentially look like?
Great question, and I think taking some of what James was said, advice to Tokyo startups. We actually give advice to our Queensland exporters when they're engaged with Japanese startups as well. Be patient, understand the process. So the support that we can provide, I think very much we're an English-speaking country, obviously. We're a large enough market, as the Mayor said, and as Annie said, you can come to Queensland and do a small-scale project, a demonstration project. If you then want to go to another larger market like the US or Europe, it's a really great test bed for your technology in an English-speaking country that has great innovation practices. It has great guidance and great corporate governance that you can be assured when you go to your next market, your experience in Queensland really is able to hold you in good stead. So a lot of the work that we do with Japan-based startups is really talking through what does your technology look like in Queensland. And I think I heard someone say earlier today, localization, it's not just about doing it in English. It's really understanding what do you want to do, what does it look like in a Queensland perspective. If you're thinking about, we did a recent program for sports and health innovation. So out of our participation in World Expo 2025 Osaka, we led a delegation from Japan that was led by Mizuno, a delegation of Japanese sports and health innovation startups to Queensland to really understand what it may look like for them to undertake projects in Queensland. A lot of the work we did with them was talking about, for example, if your project or if your company is doing something to do with a particular sport, for example, athlete management. How people manage athletes in Japan probably is very different of how we manage athletes in Australia or in Queensland. So it's really understanding it's not just about the English, it's about how do you localize it to suit the problem that you're trying to fix. And it's also about we help companies try to really make their message and make their pitch quite clear, because when we are dealing with government, as you've both said, dealing with government, you need to understand their processes and understand their priorities. I think the Mayor and Annie have been really quite clear about the priorities for Moreton Bay. So really understanding how you can actually help solve those problems is something that's really important. And as the Queensland Government based in Tokyo, our job is very much to help you, give you that information about how you can help to find those examples, help to find those solutions. So we're very much there to help you in your next steps.
Wonderful.
And it's all free.
Yeah.
Did I say that? It's all free.
And I've been really impressed with the Queensland Government's approach around sports and sports tech. What are the sectors you're seeing really strong pull in addition to sports into Australia from Tokyo?
Oh, I think we're seeing a lot across lots of sectors, and I think in particular the challenges that you've raised is something that we've been speaking with for a number of years with our Japanese stakeholders. It's about resilience, environmental management. As the Mayor said, Queensland is one of the biggest regions that actually gets a lot of natural disasters. We have very big floods. We also joke we have our once in 100 year floods every 10 years. So we have very common natural disasters. So it's a lot of discussions about that. It's a lot of synergies that Japan-based startups are looking at, again, managing resilience, managing disasters, real-time engagement. So we're seeing a lot of interest in that because there is a lot of synergies from the Japan experience that can be brought back to Queensland.
Wonderful. And so when we think about Queensland and particularly Moreton Bay, the geography, the people and the business community, you know, I want to ask both of you, for the audience to better understand what it's like, what surprises people most when they visit or start a business in City of Moreton Bay or Queensland?
I'll go first. So the thing that surprised me, and this is similar to what I expect the experience of any new startup might be coming to the City of Moreton Bay, because I was new to the City of Moreton Bay when I started there. Something that surprised me was the sense of community and the sense of momentum. I had been in the city I'd lived in the city for about 12 months. I'd been operating my business, and Innovate Moreton Bay, which is a program run by the city, reached out to me. They'd heard about me. I don't know how they heard about me, but they heard about me. And they booked a meeting with me. They came and sought me out. They sat me down and they said, "We would love for you to consider being a part of this program." And I said, I don't know what's in this for me, but I'm going to keep turning up. I'm going to see what happens. And the more I kept turning up and the more I kept engaging with the other innovators in the community, the more I realized that there was an incredibly strong fabric underpinning that community. And it wasn't just about financial capital, it was about relationship capital. And when we're able to deeply invest our relationship capital with such a supportive local government as the City of Moreton Bay has been, or invest relationship capital with a program as successful as Trade and Investment Queensland, it comes back in spades. And that's my experience has been encapsulated in, if you're able to give, you're going to get lots and lots in return. I owe my entire presence here, speaking in front of you, to the efforts that Innovate Moreton Bay, City of Moreton Bay and Trade and Investment Queensland have given to us. As a responsible AI company, we don't get as many opportunities as irresponsible AI companies, as I'm sure you can imagine. So this kind of support is absolutely critical to the kind of work that we do, and we wouldn't be here without you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And over to you, Melissa.
I think James again raised some really great points. What people, I think we find with our investors and stakeholders who go and set up their presence in Queensland, they're always very surprised how similar it is doing business in Japan. As you said, we're very much a relationships-based culture. You may be surprised that Australia is, we're a big country, we do lots of business. We really value doing relationships and doing business with people we have relationships with. So we have that sense of community. We have that sense of building relationships for business and helping people through those steps in business. Queensland itself has a very long relationship with Japan. Japan's first overseas diplomatic post in Australia was in Queensland. This was 130 years ago. So we have a very strong and long relationship with Japan. In our resources sector, it's over 60 years old. So if you come to Queensland, you will find there's obviously our local companies there as well. You'll find a very big footprint of Japanese companies that you can also engage with. Again, we help introduce you to Japanese companies who are there who are also looking for new technologies, new innovation. solution. And you'll probably be surprised, I think, as James also mentioned, the amount of government support that you can get as a startup, as a Queensland business, the amount of government funding and government support you can get to actually innovate and test your products is quite amazing. It's across multiple sectors that the government proactively reaches out and seeks these solutions. So I think that may be something that surprises you, but I think at the very end of the day, once you come there, you're part of our community, and we want to build our community. So we're very welcoming and very open to hearing your solutions.
Excellent. I think we are now potentially could open it up for audience questions. Do you want me to run that, or do you want... Yeah, okay. So I believe the team here will have mics. So if you've got a burning question, we'll give it a best shot in answering it. So pop your hand up. Where's the guy with the budget question? Oh, there we go. Here we
go. First of all, thank you so much for a very nice panel discussion. So from my side, so I'm guessing like one startup will be selected for each city. So I like to know the most like important deciding factors as Moreton Bay and also Queensland when selecting the final startups.
I'll give that one a crack. So the challenge is very broad, as you've determined, and it's going to be hard to choose the best startup. So it's going to be in and around the best fit for us in our journey at this point in time, because I'm sure there will be some brilliant solutions coming forward in applications that we may not be ready for, or the Australian market, it just doesn't fit. We've had some early stage questions about AI and cameras, for example, for the purposes of security. And so the Australian government landscape is a little bit different to other countries, and so we needed to look carefully about that solution, and we still need to. I'm not suggesting that any decisions have been made, but it becomes then, is that right fit for us at this point in time? So other criteria, obviously it's quality solution and it's practical, it can be implemented, because the proof of concept, the investment in this collaboration between Tokyo Metropolitan Government and ourselves is a large investment of time and money, because we want to see a successful solution. So it's the likelihood of success at the end of the proof of concept process as well. I have a team of people who would have loved to be here in Japan today with us, but they're back in City of Moreton Bay. They're experts in stormwater drainage. They're experts in disaster response. They're experts in asset management. And so they are committed to understanding the type of solutions that you're putting forward and how it would work for us.
Thank you.
I might give just a bit of general pitch advice as well. You got to think from the perspective of the stakeholder as well. What's return on investment look like for them? So it's not about like they may not know what the solution is, but if you've got a solution, do your best to try and find the financial and non-financial impacts that your solution has, so that you can demonstrate that to the stakeholder so that they can make their best possible decision. And that stands not just for government, but in any kind of business as well. If you can communicate the benefits and you can communicate what it's going to cost, they can kind of weigh up the decision for themselves, and then you'll be in the top of the discussions anyway if you can communicate both of those things well. Yeah.
And I might just add, even though the Queensland government is not the decider, it's very much on the Moreton Bay team. I guess a piece of advice from us is really just showing you've done your homework. You can see a pathway starting as a POC with Moreton Bay, but what would it look like for you to do a next project in another region or another part of Queensland or Australia? So it's really great if you can demonstrate you've done some research and some study. It may start in Moreton Bay, but where would your next steps, or where do you want to go next? That would probably help the team also to understand those next steps and how it really would fit in with Moreton Bay.
Excellent points, both of you. Our Mayor is a leader across all of Queensland, not only southeast Queensland, and talks about collaboration and supporting each other. So that's a really good message about the application of your solution to other councils in Australia, because we can bring them into the fold really early in the process. So your solution could have multiple markets throughout not only Queensland but potentially Australia.
I don't know anything about the risk appetite specifically of Moreton Bay, but because it's a growing area, generally you might expect that there is a little bit more risk appetite than other local government areas around Australia, and local governments talk a lot with each other in Australia. It's a very strong network. So yeah, big commercialisation opportunities there as well.
And just one more reminder, I think the Mayor mentioned, and I think you mentioned it as well, 2032 Brisbane Olympics. That's a massive piece of infrastructure investment for the state. It's $7 billion just for the Olympics, but there's multiplied $100 billion of investment in infrastructure outside the Olympics. So we're in a very tight time frame to make sure we can put the best Olympics on for our region. It's not just the state, it's for all of our regions. So just so you know, there's a massive pipeline of infrastructure investments there that you can actually link into if you do a great proof of concept with the Moreton Bay team.
Great question. Lots of response. We've got time, a little bit of time left if there's any other questions.
We've stunned you all into silence.
No? That's okay. Well, perhaps we can wrap it up there, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
よろしくお願いいたします。
Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawrence, Ms. Inoka, and Mr. Gauchi for the great panel. With that, we will conclude today's session. If you're interested in applying for the project, please visit the pre-entry website via the QR code currently displayed on the screen to submit your application. Thank you very much again for joining us for today.